DTM Cynthia, can we start?
Stop, please.
First, we have to see the video.
Everyone mute. Oh, we don't have the sound on.
No.
Can everyone mute, please? Thank you. Maya Catherine, can you restart the video with a sound? This time you have to engage the sound.
Yes, I'm going to do it right now.
Okay, great. This is tricky.
Yes, a little tricky. It didn't come up today.
Waiting room. Let's see. You.
1 second. I'm done putting in the video right now. 1 second.
Okay, great.
1 second. Technology, but we'll get it done in a little bit. Thank you for your patience. I'm opening it now. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. And share this. Yes. Okay. And share this. It's not sharing the sound, Cynthia. I don't know why.
I think we'll just forget this.
I don't know why it's not sharing the sound. I don't know why it's not sharing the sound. I'm gonna try one more time.
That's okay. Just share it and then it doesn't need to have the sound. We can just share it.
Okay, cool. Let me do that again.
Okay.
Share screen. Don't know why it's not sharing the sound. I'm gonna try one more time.
That's okay. Just share it and then
Good evening.
It doesn't need
Good afternoon.
We can just share
Good morning.
Okay.
Whatever time zone you happen to be in, welcome to Leaders World Online Toastmasters Club. Our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leaders Worldwide is designed for politicians, business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, as well as anyone who wants to make their message heartfelt and authentic. Core values: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. We are Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, where leaders are made. Business leaders, nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Cynthia Stott, the charter
How much
president
participants we have, DTM Cynthia?
hold on. No talking, please. All participants, please mute your mic. Thank you. Welcome to Leaders Worldwide. We have very excited guests, and especially the TMOD. I'll begin introducing him in just a minute. And we have a very special program for you today. Let me get the agenda up and running here. Our theme of the day is work-life balance, and that was chosen by our TMOD, Shaquille Kawaja. And I'm going to introduce our all our guests are welcome, and we, let's see, hold on a second. All our guests are welcome, and we don't have time to introduce you all verbally. So please enter your information in the chat, where you're calling in from. If you're a Toastmaster, you can list your Toastmasters club or your company that you work for. Yeah, we'd like to know who you are and where you're from. So now, without further delay, I'd like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, our guest, Shaquille Jamil.
Some time ago, on a very cloudy, dark night, I just shut down my PC and started walking towards the parking lot. In the parking lot, I opened the door of my car with my key, set it, and driving. Well, I was on the main road within a minute. On the main road, I was just thinking, what will happen in the tomorrow's meeting? Will my sales team perform? Will the targets be met or not? Well, beep, beep. Suddenly, I narrowly escaped an accident just because of the distracted thoughts of working at office. Well, then I just shut my thoughts and got it to drive smoothly to my home. I reached my home, parked the car in the parking lot, and went to my home. Ring the doorbell, ting, 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 ting. To my surprise, my spouse, my sweetheart, was just waiting for me at the door. Well, after entering the home, I was so tired and engaged, I went to my bedroom and just sat on the sofa, thinking, will Ali perform today, tomorrow in the sales meeting or not? Will the targets be met? Will my team get the bonus or not? Well, suddenly I heard a screaming noise in my ears. Well, it was my wife. I've been just talking to you since the last 5 minutes. Where are you lost? Well, you are not even in the home. You are just sitting in the home, but not in the home. Well, I was just surprised, got the attention. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, as you just noticed, I've just told you what happens to your life as well. We are just so much engraved in our personal responsibilities, official responsibilities. We have no time whatsoever for family. Yeah. We see our children not rising like this. We see our children rising by this. Because when we go to work, they are sleeping. And when we come from work, they are sleeping. So we see them growing like this. There's huge gap between parents and children in today's generation. I would like to just tell you 3 main causes of disturbing work-life balance. Number 1, increased workload at your official responsibilities. Number 2, it is prolonged working hours at your work, be it employer, employee, your businessman, anything. And number 3, huge quantum of responsibilities at your family life. So I would like to tell you actionable steps during my meeting to how to improve work-life balance. Now, Pastor Rosaline Khan presents a very much good speech on lesson learned. So I would like to hand over to Toastmaster Rosaline Khan. Can you please just start your speech, maybe?
Certainly. Normally there's a person who introduces me and gives my introduction. Do you have that? I think
let's follow the agenda. So please follow the agenda.
Yeah. I'm just following the agenda. Just give me 30 quick seconds. Only 30 seconds.
Okay. Would you like me to introduce Rosalind? I can introduce her.
I can introduce Toastmaster Rosaline.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Yeah.
before that, we have to introduce grammarian, word of the day, and our counter.
Right.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I would like to hand over the podium to general evaluator to introduce the word of the day and also the same thing. Over to you, Toastmaster Ubaid Bilgami.
Well, thank you very much, TMOD. But I guess the grammarian and word of the day and AHA counters, these roles are being played by TM Sally. So I would ask TM Sally to describe her role and the word of the day for the today's meeting.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Abad. I'm in Berkeley, California, so we are excited to see everyone in such a distance.
So yeah,
As a grammarian, I'm listening for the ums and the ahs and spaces that will deflate your message. And if we can practice not putting filler words such as, in, yeah, you will make a stronger sentence and be more effective in your message. And also our word of the day is balance. And that's the difference between tilting and level. So please keep in mind that everything is in measured distances and there's a rhythm to all of it. Thank you.
Sally, I have a question. Is our word balance or rhythm? Because the
Mine is
agenda
rhythm.
says
Rhythm.
My
it says
word-
rhythm.
Yes, my
Rhythm.
word is rhythm. And it's a
Yes.
strong, regular, repeated pattern of movement and sound. Thank you very much. I was a little confused there because that's my word. Rhythm. It's like music. It never stops. And when you're doing it well, you don't even notice how well it works. Rhythm.
Okay, is our Toastmaster of the day ready to take over according to the agenda?
According.
Yeah, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, TM Rosaline Khan. Yeah.
Her path, project, objective.
Rosaline has recently published her book, Captivating Speaker, and completed a bestseller campaign. Wow, bestseller campaign. And live book launch as part of her second DTM project. Wow, it's good to know you are already DTM. Congratulations. In his talk, she will review the lessons learned from these two activities and moving to the next part of book sales. Regarding her pathways are strategic relationship at level 5 elective project. Lesson learned is the speech. Over to you, DTM Rosaline A. Khan. Please have a big round of clap to TM Rosaline. Over to you, TM Rosaline.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. They say life without rhythm is not life at all. And just as so, we need to learn lessons everywhere we go in life. So today, I'd like to take you on a journey, a travel through two exciting launches. One was a meeting just like this with a room filled of people. There must have been 20, 24, just like this room right here. And secondly, a launch at a restaurant. In my speech today, I'm going to look at the good and the not so good of each of these events, because I know in this group, there are plenty of people here who like to publish a book and how to become a best-selling author. So let's look at the good news first. On my first launch, I picked the date of 9/11, and you say, why would you pick a date on 9/11? Well, 9/11 is an important day in American history. It's a day that travesty went ahead and hit the world, but at the same time, it became a day that people need to have that voice. They need to have that compassion. They need to be able to speak out about things that are important. And so I picked that day as a day to be able to give people that voice, that confidence to learn what they need to do to draw the people in, to listen to them. And that was part of the reason I picked that day. Now, in order to get people out to an event, it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of preparation. And I'd sent out lists and I'd sent out lists and I called and I thought I'd confirmed. And lesson number one, unless someone tells you I definitely will be there, you have no idea. Well, I'm pretty sure is not it. Lesson number two.
Battery charge nahi hai.
You need to follow up. You don't just call them one time. You must send them an email. You must follow up. You must give them a third call. Those are two important lessons. The next lesson I learned is the importance about clarity. I recently met with a lady who was on the book launch, and she was absolutely certain that the cost of the book was $30. No, it wasn't $30. That was the next event. The next event was an event for $30. You could get a book, you could get lunch, and you could listen to the band. Somehow that was confusing. She also said, you should give some information. So for all of those of you who want to know what the book Captivating Speaker is, my good friend Cynthia Stott said, Rosalind's book is an A to Z about public speaking that you will not be able to Google on any machine because there's more information that you can't find that's in that book. And you say, what? Well, have you ever read a public speaking book that told you how to network? Raise your hand if you've learned about public speaking and networking in the same book. No, I don't see anybody's hand raised. Well, one person's hand went up. How about a public speaking book that tells you about maybe going in and checking out the location of where you're going to speak? Maybe. And what about having an extra introduction so the person who introduces you says your name right? Well, these are just a few of the beginning things that are in there. But my absolute favorite one that I always love to mention is this one, the pause. People need to capture what you're saying. I've often been accused of speaking way too fast. And so I'm reminded about the importance of the pause. Now, giving you some lessons on the first event, I told you about the book launch. There's another important thing. When you go to a book launch, people need to come with the understanding that they're going to buy a book. They're gathered to watch the numbers tick-tock up the thing to see how many people have bought the book. It's not just to see what's going on, it's to support that author, to tell their friends. So I'm really grateful I had 24 people. I'm grateful for the testimonials, the people who spoke highly about me. And there were 4 people who bought the book on that day. Now, the whole idea of a book launch is to get people at the same place, the same time to go and buy that book. Now, the second thing about a book launch is getting reviews. Now, I'm a person who loves to express my appreciation and gratitude, just like I'm grateful for all of you coming out here today. The day after it was over, I sent a beautiful certificate to each and every person who'd been on that call. Thank you so much for joining me and participating in my book launch. It was really a pleasure to have you there. I can hardly wait to see your review. Well, that didn't do very much to get those reviews. And that is a really important part about launching a book launch. So let's go to event number 2. Event number 2 was, I think, about 3 to 4 weeks later. And it was at a beautiful restaurant that had Italian food. You had pizza, you had salad, all sorts of good things. And you know what else? I got this really good band to come out. It was the Tiffany Band and Friends, and they played all sorts of rock music, some of my favorite songs. And I had my sign there. It was the brand new sign with the book, and it was beautiful. And they had a separate room, and I had flowers, because you always bring the accoutrements, the things that you want to bring to brighten up the room. The flowers were there. One of my paintings were there, because I love to paint. They call me an impressionist painting, just like the one behind me. So it was all there. And there was one problem again. I asked people to come. I tell people to come, and the list was this long. And usually when you have a list that's this long, about this many show up. So the good news is when you took the picture, it looked like lots of people were there. That was in front of the banner. In reality, there was 8 people there that were my friends. Kind of tough. And I was really excited about them being there. There's a video I have online, and it is one of the gentlemen who helped me find the thing, who is the blind West Covina City Councilman. He gave the most beautiful testimonial of who I am. It was some really great footage. And once again, people buy the books, you follow up, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I've just embarked on another campaign. What if I write a letter and say how great it was, how wonderful? You don't know how to write a review? Let me show you how to write a review. And so selling a book and getting it on the bestseller list is not just writing the book and getting it out there. It's not just getting people to come there. You have to tell them why they're there. You have to tell them what you want them to do. And if they have trouble, simply go ahead and help them. So this is how you can help all your future authors out there. If they invite you to a book launch, make sure that you know the goal is to buy the book. For all of you out there, I've got great news. It's available on Amazon, and you can even get a Kindle version. So I believe anyone in this call who has Kindle, you can get it emailed to you. Very inexpensive. Number 2, when you get that book, make sure you write a review to let the author know how much you value this really great information. And last and finally, today I did a video of something that's really near and dear to my heart. And I said the real reason that I wrote the book is to teach people when there's something that touches your heart and you're really concerned about, that you have the voice. There's something that's going on in our world today, and it is a war that is broken out in Israel and Hamas. And whatever side you're on, there's a saying by this Rabbi Hillel, and he said, if not now, when? There's something that all of us can do to help the people in need. And the reason I did this video was to tell people, when you have something, whether it's health, it's life, it's death, it's losing a child, it's losing a loved one, promoting your company, I want you to have that voice that when you stand up there and you speak, there are people who are going to listen. Madam Toastmaster.
Such an insightful speech by TZM Rosaline. A to Z about public speaking. Wow, what a book you have written. She highlighted about follow-up and clarity and having a pause in talking. Just amazing. I would like to have announced 1 minute silence, please. I think we are almost finished. Now I would like to introduce another great speaker. Really, a very great speaker. But just before, I would like to tell you one-liners on how to improve work-life balance. Number 1, there is no perfect work-life balance that exists in the world. Just remember this as the first thing. You need to perform better at the circumstances you face. Number 2, I would like to have you prioritize your emotional, physical, and mental health above all things. If you are facing any stress and anxiety and you need therapy sessions, you should go for it and take a leave from your work. And one more thing, I would like to tell you, sometimes you have to just unplug yourself from your world entirely, or maybe for temporarily during your daily routine to have just change your mind. Now I'd like to introduce another brilliant speaker, Toastmaster Mary Shai King. Her project is her pathway is innovative planning, level 5 elective project named Lesson Learned. Wow, what a beautiful topic, lessons learned. We would like to hear from her. I would like to introduce her. Mary Shai King is an area director D3 of District 57. Wow, such a good role. 2-time Triple Crown winner for 2022-23 in 2 different districts. So she has a multi-level experience in districts as well. She is a published author, a mental health professional, international motivational speaker, certified domestic violence facilitator. Okay. and she is the founder and CEO of Victory Over Violence. Wow, such a great service she is doing, where she advocates for victims of domestic violence. Over to you, Toastmaster Demary Shai King.
May I quickly interrupt for a couple of seconds because apparently DTM Rosalind could not see my timer cards. So can I please confirm with the speaker if she can see my timer cards because she went way beyond the time limit, DTM Rosalind.
I can see your card.
All right, thank you. Thank
Have you ever been sitting on your sofa on a Sunday afternoon watching TV and the kids are sitting on the floor, your wife is sitting beside you, and all of a sudden you sit straight up. Oh my God, did I sign that last memo that came across my desk? Did I respond to that email that I got? If that happened to you, let me see by a show of hands. Several people have had that to happen to them. Fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests, the title of my presentation to you is Equilibrium. And that is defined as a state where opposing or different forces are balanced or come together. I assure you that we can have equilibrium in our workplace and our home life, but we have to strive to make that happen. I'm going to share with you, and I'd like for you to come with me as we discover what happened before, during, and the after event that made us all change or pivot in some kind of way. The pandemic and COVID-19. Before it struck, oh my goodness, we understood what we had to do. We went out on each morning and we dropped the kids off at school. We had our lunch prepared and we went to work and we kissed our mate goodbye, knowing that we wouldn't have to see him until that evening. And we had a rhythm to our life. We knew what we had to do. We knew how the day was going to go. And then COVID struck, COVID-19. And finally, it was declared a pandemic. So I'm speaking to you as a global influencer because it touched everyone around the world. There was a period in time when we had a lockdown, and oh my goodness, we thought we knew what it was about to say, I'm going to help you with your homework this evening. I want you to get that math problem right. But guess what happened with COVID? Not only did you get to do that math problem in the evening, you had the opportunity or the responsibility of being the teacher all day long. Wow, that was different. No longer could you kiss your mate goodnight or goodbye at the side of the road or at the office door. You were stuck in the same house, in the same space with that person all day long. COVID caused us to lose our rhythm. We didn't really know what we were going to be doing or how we would do it. It made us take a deep look at who we were as individuals. Record says that recordings that there was an increase in domestic violence. There was an increase in suicide attempts and calls to 988, which is the suicide hotline, because the stress and the change in our equilibrium, the balance that we always thought was so great, had changed. We lost our rhythm. We did not know where we were or how we were going to get there. And then the aftermath. What all of that taught us was we're more resilient than we think we are. A number of us decided, I'm going to go into business for myself. I did it at home. I ran all of it. I can do this. I'm going to run a business from home. It has been recorded that more entrepreneurs grew out of the pandemic than ever before in the United States. I can't speak for worldwide, but I'm sure that that same influence occurred around the world because people had an opportunity to discover exactly who they were. Now, in some instances, it was a great thing to understand what you had to do to really balance work and life. because then you discovered a new rhythm. You had to find a new way to make that work. So you decided that for an hour, I'm going in that room and I'm closing that door. If I have to lock it, no one is coming in. I have to be alone. We didn't know that. COVID taught us your personal space is so important. Then when we were working remotely from home, we knew we had to separate ourselves from everyone else and say, no, the next 2 hours, I have something that I have to do. We are resilient individuals. We can manage the unknown if we simply are intentional. And here at Toastmasters International, our core principles are the letters IRSE. And I'm going to take a deep dive into IRSE. For my presentation of equilibrium, and for you as an individual to find your rhythm, I is being intentional. Do what you do with an intentional mindset. Because when you plan to do it and you're intentional, chances are you're going to make it happen. R is to show resolve. You have to be determined to make life take care of life and work take care of work. And you resolve that that is what's going to happen. Can you see this rhythm falling in place at this moment? Then the next letter in the IRS is service for Toastmasters, but for finding your equilibrium, I say it's being a servant leader. You're out there, you're doing your thing, you started your own business, you have to be a servant leader because that's a leader who leads by example. You have to show people that it can be done. This is a possibility. I'm doing it. I can show you, follow me. I have had the great honor of not being trained to be a speaker. I've learned that on my own. And in conjunction with Toastmasters, I'm making it work because I have spoken in 10 foreign countries since the first of this year. And today, I'm speaking to an international audience. I consider myself to be a global influencer because I am helping you to understand you can return the rhythm to your life. You can separate, which is the last letter, separate the two, your work life and your home life. You can separate those and begin to live a beautiful, fulfilling, wholesome life. You can be that great mom, you can be that great dad, but you can walk into the office and say, here I am. I am a servant leader. I'm here to help you as my team members get the job done. So equilibrium, absolutely. Equilibrium is to balance both the home life and the work life, and to do it with a rhythm. Because when we add a rhythm to what it is that we're doing, think about dancing. When you add a rhythm to it, you get the point across. Remember the word equilibrium, work on it, and make it happen. Mr. Toastmaster.
Such an insightful speech covering starting from the pandemic, hard times of COVID-19, then moving towards the suicide cases and rise in the domestic violence, and at the end, summarizing the equilibrium. Wow, such a great speech, Toastmaster. Well, I would like to have call a 1 minute silence, please. Yeah, I think we are good enough to move ahead. Just on the strategies to deal with work-life balance, I would like to quickly recall you 2 more things. Calling, are the speakers qualified?
We don't do voting, so you don't have to ask if they're qualified. We just get a report at the end.
Okay.
One is qualified.
It
Can
doesn't
you please
matter.
name?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay, as a respected president has just allowed, it's good to move on. I would like to add you to recharge yourself emotionally and physically. You need to completely unplug from your daily routine. Go for vacations with your family. You will feel refreshed. And coming to the next, well, you should have an aim in your life. You should love your work. When you will be loving your work, you will not feel demotivated. You will feel accomplished when working at the office rather than just looking at the financial aspects. Now, I would like to hand over to DTM Cynthia for handing over the chart to Table Topic Master today.
Oh, you go ahead and do it as the TMOD, please.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Can you please, from the members we have, can you please recall who is interested? Can you please raise your hand from the members at the club?
No, please call the table
By name?
topic master.
Who is the
Cassandra
table topic
Garabedian.
master? Okay.
Look at the agenda. It's Cassandra Garabedian.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
I should invite her to speak as a TTM?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can you please recall her name, just not to misspell it?
Cassandra Garabedian. Cassandra?
Okay,
Yeah, Toastmaster Cassandra, are you there?
yes, thank you.
Okay. It was really
What-
fun listening to you in the last meeting. Hopefully you will also entertain us today with your insights. Now your
Oh.
topic is, yeah, now your topic
Work-life-
is,
I'm
yeah.
going to integrate it with the work-life balance.
Yeah,
So-
I would like to tell, yeah, I would
Okay,
like to tell
okay,
you.
take it away,
Okay, let's go ahead.
Cassandra.
Let's go ahead. Over to you.
Okay, we've had some wonderful speeches today. So keeping with the theme, we're going to stay with work-life balance. And I'd like to ask first some of our, well, let's keep it with the guests. So because we have so many guests here, let's, do we have any volunteers? Any guests would like to volunteer to answer a question? Any guests?
I don't see any hands raised yet.
No?
Yeah, the hand is raised here.
Omer. Yes, Omer. And Dennison and Sad.
Okay, great. We have 3 questions, 3 guests.
Okay.
First question,
Who are you going to call upon?
take them in the order in which they came in.
Okay, let's see. I can only, can you raise your electronic hand? The other person that
I
volunteered?
think we said Omid, Omir.
Okay, here's 3 up here. Oh, so it's a Dennison and then Abiha and then, oh, you disappeared. Said, Saeed. Okay,
Okay,
so Dennison first.
okay, Dennison, thank you for volunteering. We have the ideal work-life balance, but we know that there's many facets we have to it. We have our family, we have our friends, we have our community, we have, the children. There's so many different things that come into play. How is your work-life balance?
Madam Table Topics Master, thank you so much for that question. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How is my work-life balance? Well, up until recently, due to COVID-19, my work-life balance was out of whack because I worked 8 hours per day. Then I came home to conduct a training session for 3.5 hours. And as a result of that, I got to bed at a very late hour. I decided that such indulgence in work was interfering with my home life. And I feel that our responsibility in life is first to home, because if home is not in order, nothing else in our lives will be in order. So I reprioritized my life to ensure that my responsibilities to my home are my first priority, and everyone knows that that is my first priority. Work comes at a distant second, then extracurricular activities. So right now, the work-life balance is getting back into balance, and hopefully as I grow, I can achieve a better balance. Thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master.
And thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. We can all learn from that. Next person that volunteered to share.
Can I come in?
Okay, Saeed, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Your
could
question
you-
is, with life lessons, how did you
I
learn?
think we have Abid first. If that's who I spotlighted.
Okay,
Abid. Yes.
Abhi.
Okay. Take your question.
Okay, so with your life lessons, how did you learn to create boundaries?
Are you unmuted? Are you muted? Uh-oh.
She's muted.
She's muted.
Yeah, she's muted. Unmute your mic.
Unmute your mic.
There you go.
Like, are you talking to me?
Yes, we can hear you now. You might need
Okay,
to
okay.
repeat that question, Cassandra, because she doesn't know.
Could you
Okay,
repeat the
sure. With life lessons, how did you learn to create boundaries in order to have this work-life balance?
Well, boundaries are very essential for us for our well-being. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Your video off. Can you speak? Can you speak? Are you muted? I think we're going to have to move on to someone else because we're running out of time.
She's muted again.
Are you muted?
No, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, like boundaries are very essential for us because while I was working at my job as a HR person, I realized that there are certain boundaries you have to put in order to earn your peace while you're working and while you're at home.
Okay, thank you. Next person, and who's the next person?
They Sade. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pin you. Ooh, I can't pin you. It's Sade. So Sade, can you unmute your video? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Sade, have you ever worked for an employer where they demanded so much of your time that your work-life balance was so demanding that you had to really question whether it was the job for you and your lifestyle? And if so, what did you do about it?
Good evening, TTM. Good evening, my Toastmaster fellows. Hope everybody is fine. I have faced in my life around 4 years when I joined my audit firm, Morris Stephens International, in 2007. I had a contract for 42 months almost to conclude my internship with them. And it was a legal contract with them that I could not leave them in between. And I was a married man then. It was really very difficult for me to cope with my routines as well. Now I remember when I had a one little bit course with Dr. Leninsky in Columbia Business School, USA. He told me to divide your life into 4 sections especially. One, you have to look for your physical needs. If your physique is not as strong or compatible to your work, then one day you will be failure. Second, he advised me to go for my spiritual needs, that I need to satisfy myself from my core of the heart, that what I am doing, I should feel proud and content with this. Third, he asked me to divide my life into third category, that is emotional needs, that I love my parents, I love my wife, I love my siblings. I had a bunch of the good friends around, so I have to take out the time for them too. And above all, this life revolves around the financial needs. If you are not strong enough to cater for your financial needs, everything will be a catastrophe in your life. So at the end of the day, what I did, I had to work for 12 hours in a day. The remaining, I had only 12 hours where I have to sleep, I have to look for my family, and especially what I did for my parents and colleagues, and especially the friends. I used to visit them on holidays. I used to call them on weekends, and I tried to grasp all benefits of my personal needs in life. So I believe it was very tough time in my life, but due to the patience of my people around, and because they try to accommodate me, I would like to appreciate them that they really helped me to conclude this internship by 2011. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Great. Thank
you
you.
for that.
Welcome.
Okay.
Thank
Great.
you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. Such a great Toastmaster Cassandra, such a great table topic sessions we have. We have a lot of insights on how to improve the work-life balance. Wow. Yeah, just to cut the long story short, I would like to just add last 2 things. You can say when you are working in your work, your hobbies and your personal activities are also important. You need to give a lot of importance to them as well. And lastly, you have to set your work boundaries. When you are leaving your office premises, just shut down what you are doing for the whole day. Don't even think of it, at least till next morning you come to your office. So it was the last advice. Now I would like to call the timer. I would like to invite General Evaluator, Toastmaster Ubaid Bilgrami, over to you to run the show. Toastmaster Ubaid Bilgrami, are you there? Toastmaster Ubaid?
Uh-oh.
Toastmaster Obed, unmute your mic.
Can you please unmute your mic, Toastmaster Ubaid?
Right. Okay, thank you very much, Toastmaster of the Day, Mr. Shakil, fellow Toastmasters, respectable DTMs and guests. Good morning and good evening altogether. So evaluation, the best part of the Toastmaster meeting. As for the general evaluator, first of all, I'd like to give bravo to TMOD for the selection of a well-needed topic as a theme. Work-life balance, and providing tips and techniques to maintain the balance, definition of balance. And then we started late, a little late, with some technical glitches to play video. Well, I must say the meeting was started with a great enthusiasm, which was all vivid by TMOD.
Are
And
we
it was
going
a
to have
fine.
to invite the evaluators? We need to invite the evaluators to give their
Oh, I'm sorry.
evaluation.
All right. All right. Yeah, I missed that. Okay. So just for the evaluation of the speech, I'd like to invite the first evaluator, Toastmaster Teresa, to have the evaluation of the first speech. Please, over to you, Teresa.
Thank you very much for that. Rosalind, thank you so very much for an enlightening and informative presentation. The first thing I noticed about your speech was you were standing, and that gave you the ability to share gestures and a great amount of vocal variety. At the beginning of the speech, you gave us a quick summary of your book and some enlightening things, comments about the necessity to pause and also the necessity to network and really look at you. And you did a little bit of selling of why your book on speaking gives the A to Z content of exactly what a speaker needs to do. The one thing you didn't do was tell us where we could find your book, what the name was. Everybody, it's Captivating Speaker. And I guess you can get it on Amazon. So I'll do a little selling for you. Then you went into comparing the two launches that you did, and kudos for you for trying to do a couple of live presentations and perhaps reading parts of your book to the audience. I know how difficult it is to get people physically to any kind of meeting. So if you got 24 people at one and 8 people to another, you did a fantastic job at that. The things that I learned were and once again, to repeat to all of us that if you want someone to do something, you have to tell them specifically what you want, or it's not going to happen. So if you wanted people to buy your book, someplace along the line, you probably should have said something about come with money, something like that. However, you did better on the second time around and really worked hard at putting together the whole call to action and a beautiful environment for the people who attended your launch. I also heard that you do videos, but I didn't hear where we might be able to view those videos with different insights and wisdom about speaking. So all in all, it was a beautiful speech, but you had an opportunity to promote that book and you didn't, at least not to my mind, as much as you could have. So thank you very much. It was a beautiful speech. And I wish you lots and lots of success with this book and probably others that you have in the pipeline.
Okay, great. With this, we move to the second evaluation. The second evaluator is Toastmaster Lynn. Over to you, Toastmaster Lynn, for the second speech evaluation.
Thank you so much. Dee Maria, I have to say, this was one of the most beautiful speeches I've heard you give. You were definitely in a rhythm. You were comfortable, you were confident, you had wonderful posture, you had wonderful demeanor. You laid out, I liked how you started, especially, you started, let me show you, oh, come with me, which helped us come with you on your journey. I liked how you set it up for the beginning, during, and after. I like how you tied it into the Toastmasters to the IRSE, although it was equilibrium, but you thought, well, maybe it was separate. And I got a little bit lost in that, not that it mattered a bit at all. You gave us confidence that equilibrium is there, that we can have a rhythm, that things happen, but they didn't have to throw us off, and that it was just really part of a really profound international event. A couple things that I was waiting for you to hear is it didn't just happen, quote unquote. I think in retrospect, 3.5 years later, we can see that a profound amount of planning was done with this. The fact that that every leader in the world, including the most egregious leaders, all agreed to something immediately, kind of might have set us up a little bit to think twice about what was going on. I also suggest that when you have something you want to read, like the definition of equilibrium, it's okay to pick it up and read it, or it's okay to put it on your computer screen where you might just look at it. But when you look down to read it, I always find that sometimes that takes us out of a rhythm, takes us out of a sense of a flow. So just a thought, I think it's always fine to read something. We just want to put it in a place where it's not distracting. Another little piece that I would have liked to have heard, it didn't just happen that all this disruption and people worked at home and how wonderful that we had so many entrepreneurs come from it. There were many company mandates. There were people who found that the working conditions were impossible. And so they were forced into looking at choices, or they made the choice to look at choices. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It's like, I'm working at a place that is not sustainable. And that might have been a little bit more rough, a little bit more confrontive about the reality of what went on. Because it was quite a show. I have a strong belief that wonderful things will come as after some of this, I would call it global housekeeping. And that a great deal of wonderful rhythm and a better, more profound, healthy equilibrium will manifest. Maybe not even right away. Again, I loved your flow. And one final suggestion is when you're finished, you allow us to take it in. And as we heard from Rosalind, a bit of a pause. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster or Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much for a great speech.
Okay, so let's move to the Toastmaster Sally for the submission of reports over grammarian, word of the day, and R counter. So over to you, Toastmaster Sally.
Thank you so much. This was an exciting review of the availability of delivering messages and making them inspirational. Dee Marie used 8. Rhythm was the word of the day. Rosalind 1, Akil 1, Lynn Fraley 4. But the words of the day, Dee Marie used a picture book of the most inspiring words: resilient, stress, pivot, COVID, rhythm, balance, resilience, equilibrium, passion, opportunity. If we took all of those words, that is a dictionary of inspiration. Thank you. Also, we had gestures, vocal variety on Teresa's, and Lynn said she had a beautiful demeanor. I thought that was lovely. I would like to say that people need to see if their vision image is in the middle, and sometimes it leaves the picture or breaks up the connection we are getting with them. So remember to look where you are in your image and how you are directing your view and your words towards them. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sally. Now, for the general evaluation. As I told you earlier, it was indeed an exciting and enthusiastic session, and particularly the enthusiasm given by Toastmaster of the day. And he showed an extreme emotions over the start of the session, but he got carried away with that. And he went to consume more time in giving tips and techniques, and more time could have been given to the activities that were assigned for the day. Well, it was again an excellent startup by TMOD with his personal story. And here I'd like to highlight one more point. We all missed out the role of timer here today, including myself. The role of the timer has to be introduced before the start of the speech, prepared speeches, and before the start of the evaluation of the speeches. And then we missed out the Toastmaster timer role before the start of the table topic session, and including the speech evaluation. At the time of the speech evaluation, we again missed out the role of timer. The role of timer is very important. Here we missed out the role of timer in every activity of the day. And then we moved on to prepared speeches. And again, it was fantastic speech given by Rosalind, and it was full of vocal variety, and body language was there, and very good fluency. Everything was all understood. Again, the role of timing was missing. Had you followed that time limit, you could have qualified. But as the president today declared that timing is not a matter of the meeting today, so we have to follow the timer. The role of timing is very important when it comes to Toastmasters meetings. And then we had another speech by Mary King, Toastmaster Mary King. It was again fantastic speech related to the theme, and you touched upon the grave issue of domestic violence. Your body language could have been further improved. It was a bit lacking. And again, I must say, one more thing is that the table topics were very well articulated. It was very well designed. You made very good table topics. However, I would love to give a little piece of suggestion here. The table topic should be smaller and should be easy to speak. There shouldn't be a complete sentence. There should be smaller topics and easy to speak for the speakers. And then we have the agenda. Here we missed out one more thing. The agenda has to be studied in advance, earlier than the meeting. It was the most important thing that we all missed out. The agenda has to be studied in advance, and it has to be followed, strictly followed. We all missed out agenda today. So this was a learning point for all of us. With this, I'd like to hand over the charge back to the president, DTM Cynthia. Since we are running out of time, I would not spend more time. Back to you, President Cynthia.
Thank you
DTM
so much.
Cynthia.
Thank you. And I'm not the current president. I'm the charter president.
Yes, you're a charter president.
President.
Right.
Is in the
You are all for us. You are all for us for this club.
Thank you so much. Wonderful roles, wonderful activity. It was so active today, and it was engaging, and it was global. We love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to close up the meeting, but after we close the meeting, we have an after party where we engage with our guests, and they can sign up for roles if they want. And we give away takeaways and chocolates and treats. So we have a wonderful after party. So please stay if you can. And we so appreciated having you today, Teresa and Lynn as our evaluators and our speakers, Dee Marie and Rosalind. Wonderful, wonderful. And I will adjourn this meeting now. And I'll stop